This is my exit, 431 in Bowmanville. This is 401, and I stopped here because I gotta make sure that, you see, I'm supposed to turn left. I thought I was going to this old fifth wheel truck stop, but it says turn left, so I gotta turn left here, and then I turn right, and probably go over the bridge. Because I cannot afford to get stuck, you know. So I crossed the border this morning, and yesterday I spent 1.5 hours cleaning the excavator myself, and so I'm charging them 150 bucks Canadian. Okay, is there like a bigger number somewhere? Oh, perfect. He gave me a different number. Hi, is this Darren? Yeah, Darren, it's Sergey. I'm the guy with the excavator. How are you? Yeah, no bad. Yeah, Nick just texted me. I was supposed to call, I guess, Cole at 28. Oh, I see. Okay. So I just took this exit, 431, and that's why I'm calling. I just want to make sure that I'm not stuck because I'm pretty long. No, I just stopped right at the exit ramp, 431, and then my GPS says turn left on Energy Drive and then right on Bowmanville, right or south on Bowmanville Avenue. No, I just have a long neck. I'm gonna leave that like that because I'm doing another load next week, so we don't need to do any lifting or anything like that. Just unload and drive it. Well, I got the booster. Yeah, when I'm empty I can back out, but when I'm loaded it's very difficult. What are you driving? What are you driving? Black Silverado. Okay, sounds good. All right, Darren. So I'll see you in a second. Yep. Bye. All right, perfect. Good deal. Let me just send a text message. Just talk to him. Unloading in 5 minutes. Yeah, because I thought I was meeting another guy, but you know, I thought I was prepared for everything, right? And of course, I'm not prepared. I need this. Okay, hold on. All right. Yeah, I needed the mount. gotta be straight in order for me to unhook.
Well, you can get yourself straight. Go ahead, then you may have to back up a little bit to get straight.
Oh, as long as basically if the front of the trailer is on the pavement, is that okay?
Yeah, as long as it's on the edge and come off on the gravel.
Oh, okay, on the dirt, right?
Yeah, the dirt.
Okay.
I don't know if you need to swing wider, but you got lots of room. Nobody's in this area.
Okay. Yeah, just for me to separate, I need to be straight. Turning around. It's a bit scary because there's a slope there. And the machine wants to go sideways. Oh, check this out. Wow, that's what they're doing over here. I'm telling you, this is one massive excavator. 450C, way over 100,000 pounds. And that's how I do it. Say, good job. I made it to Cambridge, dropped my trailer in my yard, and because I left the long neck on, so gonna park over here at this beautiful shopping center, because tomorrow I'm going to the truck shop to fix that check engine light that came back on, and also they're gonna look at the ABS. So like now everything was fine as I was driving, and from the consignee where I dropped that John Deere to Cambridge, it was about 90 minutes, so 150 kilometers, 90 miles. So I drove back on the same toll 407, no issues, Yes, I feel pretty tired because I've been driving all day today, and I went through US customs, Canadian customs. On the US side, the guy was chewing my butt for like 15 minutes. Why you don't have the original certificate of origin? Why you don't have the original bill of sale? Like, how many times you've done this before? Like, do you do this often? And of course, I do it often, so I'm supposed to know, but the customer did not supply these, right? So anyway, I was pretty sure he's gonna turn me back, but after like 15 minutes, he showed some mercy, stamped my paperwork. Go, have a good day, sir. And I said, I really appreciate this. So I told the broker, I said, yeah, please, next time you must have some kind of a original document, either the manufacturer's certificate of origin, in this case John Deere, should confirm that this is really their product, or bill of sale. But I had none. All I had was copies. Even invoice from the auction was a copy. It's just ridiculous, but anyway, so they let it pass, and then I'm going to the Canadian side, and I'm thinking, okay, one more obstacle is the tracks of the excavator, where on the night before I spent 1.5 hours cleaning the tracks, but it was raining, it was snowing, so I didn't use any water. I just used my that snow brush and the crowbar, and it did take 1.5 hours. and mostly I focused on the driver's side track of the excavator, because the officer at the booth, he's always on your left next to the driver, right? And so I cleaned up this one pretty good, and then that one on the right side I cleaned up maybe, you know, a bit less than this. And then I checked my work from afar, and it does look good. You know, there was so much dirt like inside the tracks. I cleaned all that up. Like, I did a good job, I think. And so I'm charging the customer 150 bucks Canadian, so 100 bucks an hour Canadian. And the guy was very unhappy. The consignee, the guy who I was talking to at the unloading site, he said the truck wash charged him like 800 bucks. I don't know if that's Canadian or US, because there was miscommunication. He arranged with the truck wash. Remember that mobile wash I was talking about, I think, on the previous video? West of Toledo, there was a wash. And for some reason, they were under the impression that I would be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, I guess today. And no, yesterday. I think yesterday. Yeah, and so he hired extra people, right? And they were sitting there, and so the guy lost money, and so he charged this guy money. But my freight broker never told me to be there at 8. And first off, I would not go, because it's, you know, it's like 20 miles away from my route. Like, with such a heavy load, you know, you can get in big trouble if somebody stops you and say, okay, let me see your permit. What are you doing on this US 28 where you're supposed to be on I-475, you know? And so I didn't do it. And so, yeah, when I reached, I spent the night in Marysville, Michigan, or Smith Creek, just south of the border. And that's where I cleaned the tracks. And then in the morning, I ordered, I did my ACI manifest. And everything was good right away. After like 5 minutes, I saw everything green, like the green bars saying that the customs broker did their job. So our you know, manifest kind of like connected on their system. I was good to go, awaiting arrival of goods. That's the phrase I always, you know, when I see. I had the entry number, and I was just waiting for the Ontario permit. Ministry of Transportation on the night before was arguing with me through the permit broker, like, why do you want so much weight on the back? And I said, come on, I know my rights as an oversized load hauler. I'm allowed 10 kilograms per 1 millimeter of the tire width, and 10 kilos is 22 pounds. So 22 times 275, that's the size of my tire, times 4, that's almost like 25,000. And so eventually they gave me that. Like, so the permit was issued this morning at like 9 o'clock, but they were still going back and forth. So they gave me a lot of weight on the back, but they gave me less what I asked for on the truck. So yeah, this was one scary load, you know. And you saw how the guy was unloading. It was trying to go left and right. It would be scary to do it if I was doing it by myself with no spotters, you know. It would be bad. But these guys, see, there were 2 guys there. Actually, the younger guy was the son of the consignee, the guy who bought this, and his son is a mechanic. He's like mobile mechanic. He had his own little truck, and he fixed the battery. Something happened there. The cable on the battery just melted away, and I said, I'm sorry, I didn't disconnect the battery, because I was like 1 day away, you know, from the auction where I picked this up. It's like, you know, I don't know, 350 miles. And so I didn't disconnect the battery, and something happened there. I said, I didn't even touch this compartment, I'm sorry. And so the cable just melted away, so they had to use some kind of a clamp, hook it up, and then it started. It's one ugly old, super old machine, you know, but they're happy, except he lost money on the truck wash. But my broker was happy because I was communicating every day, you know, where I am, what I'm doing. and I thought I would be going to his office to pick up a check, but the guy says he's sick, so he cannot go to the bank to get a certified check, which is bank draft, or like official bank check. So he can only give me a regular business check. And I called my bank. I said, are you gonna put it on hold? Like, you know, when it's a big amount, they can put it on hold, and then I won't see the money for like 5 business days until next Wednesday. And they said, no, the first 5,000 Canadian you'll have access to right away, but the rest will be on hold. And then, okay, that's not too bad. And then I look on the map where this guy office is located, because when I talked to him before, he said, oh, I'm just a couple. I was in Port Huron, and I called him, and we were talking about this, like, how are you gonna pay me? Because he did promise like prompt payment, but he says normally he mails checks to people like right away. As soon as you give him a proof of delivery, he mails you the check. So he's pretty good. But I said, you know, I'm maxed out on all my cards, and if you don't mind, I would love to have the payment. Can we do something? And he said, yeah, okay. He says, if this is your first time with me, I'll just go to the bank and I'll deposit the check into your account. He can go to a branch of my bank over there, because, you know, every town has a branches of my bank. All banks are big, right? So they have branches everywhere. So basically he could have gone to a branch of my bank and deposit the check, but he said it's not going to be certified. And so yeah, then they say, okay, we'll give you $5,000 right away. And then I look on the map where his town is, and I said, wait, I thought you said a couple of exits away from me, like half an hour away. And it says, yeah, when you were in Port Huron. And I look on the map, and he's the town that my broker is in. It's back towards the border. It's like 20 minutes away from the border. But now for me, it's like 185 kilometers, which is what, 115 miles. So to go back there in my car and get the check and come back, and then they put a partial hold on the check, right? So I said, you know what? Just please give me a new rate confirmation showing these extra charges, you know, for the wash. I was charging him $150 Canadian for the cleaning the machine, and there was $50 US per permit, 2 of those, $100 US. So I said 130 Canadian for revised permits. So Ohio charged $50 to revise the previous permit because of the width, right? It was much wider than what they told me. And Michigan, they don't do revisions. You just have to get a new permit, and the permit is $50. And so so now he's gonna, in the morning tomorrow, he's gonna send me a new rate confirmation with this new amount, and I'm gonna sign it, send it back, and then I'm just gonna use my factoring company. And I told him, I said, the factoring company approved you, so, you know, instead of me driving 185 kilometers to your office and then having issues with my bank putting things on hold, I said, I'd rather use my factoring company, even though they're gonna charge me percentage, but I will have my money tomorrow, you know, at 2 o'clock, everything except that little percentage they take, right? And he says, yeah, that's cool. And yeah, and the factoring company, before I took this load, I confirmed that they can factor, that the credit rating of this guy is okay, and they said, yeah, good to go. And so that's the plan for tomorrow. Is oh yeah, I still have to scan the signed bill of lading and the other paperwork I have, and that's my proof of delivery, POD, and I'm gonna email it to my broker probably tomorrow morning, because now it's already 8:30 p.m. So I'm gonna email it to him, and then he'll send me the revised rate confirmation, and then I send all that to my factoring company, and so I should get the money. And then after that, that's why I dropped the trailer. I'm gonna drive to the shop in Guelph. I booked an appointment with them. They said, yeah, bring the truck over. And so they're gonna take care of the check engine light I'm pretty sure it's again the same sensor, but I'm gonna double check on the website. I'm gonna go to pekasolutions.com, and it'll show me all active codes on my truck, and I'm gonna print out that thing and bring it to the shop in case the check engine light will not be on tomorrow. Because as usual, you know, the rule is you have the light, and then when you go to the shop, the check engine light disappears, right? So I'll make sure I'll print out the info from the website that tells you what this code is. I'm positive that it's the sensor because I didn't experience any loss in power, so it was something, again, the same issue. So they probably need to clean my DPF filter or something, and then they'll take care of the ABS. And the last thing I also I forgot to mention to them, but I want them to check, it's my you know, connections on the coolant line. Like, they get loose over time, and I see like the level of coolant in my expansion container just gets low. Like today it was below minimum, so I had to go and buy coolant and add in there. So it's one of those couplers, you know, those lines, they, especially in cold weather, they leak. So I'll ask them to check all the couplers and see if anything is leaking, just replace it or something. And then the last thing, but I'm not gonna do it now, yeah, the flashing lights in the bumper, they're working on and off, but that's on the trailer. And also the electric connection between the booster and the trailer, like when I'm backing and the booster is blocked and it's trying to go left or right, I see, if I have my lights on, I see that the lights on the very rear two axles on the booster, they start flickering. They start flickering when the booster, you know, turns a little bit. And then as I was backing out of that site where I dropped the excavator, I see the lights, the clearance lights on the last two axles just went out completely. And I had to go in there and I played with all the connectors, and something is wrong with the electric connector between the booster and the trailer. Like, I unplugged it, plugged it back in, twisted a little bit, boom, I see lights are on. But of course that's not, it happened before a couple of times, so I really need to fix that. And one more problem is the Jeep annual inspection, right? So but those lights, they're very easy to fix. I know any truck stop shop will be able to fix those lights. And also I just want to disconnect the battery on the flashing lights and hook up the feed directly from the electric line, because that battery is what causes the problem. The battery doesn't want to charge. It says not charging, then it's charging. It's probably that little regulator. There's a sensor there that tells the battery when to start charging, when to stop charging, and they always go bad. I had that issue on my Honda motor. The battery was fine, but it refused to charge because that little sensor stopped working, was corroded. And that's what many guys are saying, that you don't need that battery, you know, unless you plan on having your flashing lights on with no power when the truck is disconnected. I never do this. I'm always connected to the trailer. I never drop the trailer with the oversized load. And so I'm just going to take out that battery and hook up directly into the electric line. So this way it's much more reliable. Anyway, that's all for now. I'm just going to go inside Walmart, buy some food, and celebrate the delivery of another load. And go watch this Revolution saga, what's happening in Washington DC. I was driving and listening to all these news stations. It's amazing what's happening in at the Capitol building. It's awful.